Welcome to
Quill
and Ink Lorcana. Today we're looking back at the first official rotation that occurred in 2025 in Disney Lorcana. Many things happened last year, and we want to especially take some time to remember in this video cards that we will miss from the first 4 sets of Lorcana. Amazing, powerful cards that maybe one day will return to make a similar impact to the game. Starting with Ursula's Return, released on May 23rd, 2024, where we saw our first Illumineer's Quest. Here we saw such classics as Brawl, our go-to super reliable banish card for red decks, extremely useful and seen so often in regular play. Cricky, Lucky Cricket, a late bloomer of sorts, but such a powerful card when we discovered synergies with it. Now, controversially but honestly, Diablo Maleficent Spy and Diablo Devoted Herald will share a single Diablo space here. The Spy was a classic 1-drop to see your opponent's hand early in the game, and I think it goes without saying that some, or most, were happy to see Devoted Herald go, but it still remains an iconic piece of Lorcana history. Flynn Rider, a card that suited the high-strength red decks so well and provided some fantastic early game lore when paired with high-strength, low-cost characters. Our poor Fortisphere. Despite seeing itself banished later on, the Fortisphere deserves a spot here as a great tool for card draw. For Amethyst, we saw Peter Pan Shadowfinder as a card that we will dearly miss. Maybe personally, but I really enjoyed how it was able to provide a boon to all evasion characters, giving them rush, and added to the aggressive, combative decks really well. Yen Sid, such a classic Disney character that deserves a lot of respect and is a symbolic piece of the purple steel broom deck that everyone enjoyed. Last but certainly not least, for Ursula's Return, we will be missing Sisu Empowered Sibling the most from set 4. Such an amazing card that we had a lot of fun placing into our decks. Going into the Inklings now, Lorcana's 3rd set, released on February 23rd, 2024, famously known for introducing location cards. In retrospect, is a surprisingly great release. There were so many amazing cards from this set, and a lot that we're going to miss. To start it off, we have Madame Medusa. Who can't forget Madame Medusa in so many red decks watching professional play? A 4/4 with a banish of 3 strength or less was a very powerful card. Next up, we have Mr. Smee Bumbling Mate, a mainstay of steel decks due to its high stats and lore, given the 2 cost. Many times, even without a captain, the penalty was worth adding 4 of this card to your deck. Chernobog's Followers, a classic 1-drop card that gave players the option to draw a card or continue questing until the time was right. This was found in nearly every purple deck. Speaking of Chernobog, how about Chernobog Evil Doer? Paired with an enchanted version in this release, Chernobog has forever been associated with dogs, or should I say, Chernodogs. The Lucky Dime. This was the item that provided so much synergy and devastating plays for Sapphire decks. This card is well regarded amongst all Sapphire players, and we'd be interested to see it return one day. Jafar Striking Illusionist, a combo type card that had a really fun synergy if one was able to get things up properly. Piglet, Amber's favorite Pooh character, just needed some friends to churn out really high lore early in the game. Our gooey friend Morph from Treasure Planet, Such a unique ability, and one that we still haven't seen anything else with, even though there is still something similar, yet still kind of different, the universal shift. But Morph allowed us to make some really, really fun plays and see some really fun shifts. I may not be speaking for everyone, but I really want to see Morph come back. Next up, Ursula Deceiver, of all, was a huge, huge card in this release. Being able to sing a song twice was just so insane. It was difficult to avoid this card in any Emerald deck at the time. Last but certainly not least, for this release, and then along came Zeus, the 4-cost, amazing insta-delete card that Steel decks loved so much. Moving back a little bit further, we're going to Rise of the Floodborn, Lorcana's second release that was on November 17th, 2023, that introduced Floodborn characters. We're going to start things off with Lady Tremaine, another really strong Ruby character that had good stats and a banish alongside it. Prince John, greediest of all. I remember this card being so vital for green decks to keep their card draw going, and it was a bit crazy during the Diablo days. Beast, Tragic Hero, the Steel Beast card that was strong and also provided great card draw. I would love to see this card return and think it deserves a reprint. Haram Flaversham, our fallen Sapphire Toymaker. Alas, still an amazing card that made so much joy and gave so much joy to Ruby Sapphire players. Maybe we'll see a return or maybe an alternate Haram in the future. Madam Mim Fox, Merlin Rabbit, and Crab. I'd be amiss if I didn't mention the Madam Mim and Merlin cards from Rise of the Floodborn. The insanely fun combo of returning cards to gain benefits and card replayability from these 3 cards, and there were others, but primarily these 3, was so extremely fun to play and watch. Do we still have some Madam Mim cards to play in these new releases? We do, but I would love to see the classic Amethyst bounces return. Popsicle, the Sapphire 1-drop item that would kick off most Ruby Sapphire decks in the past. It gave card draw and healed injured characters. It will be missed. It's so classic and iconic. Before moving to our number 1, our honorable mention and everyone's favorite, Bucky. Need I say more? Okay, moving to number 1. Cinderella, Ballroom Sensation. The amazing Amber 1 drop that made Amber Steel song decks become super, super viable. Cinderella plus Strength of a Raging Fire equals a bad time for your opponents. Plus, the single most beautiful enchanted card in the set. All right, we're moving further back into the past to the beginning of All Lorcana, first chapter, released on August 18th, 2023 to set off the Lorcana card game as we know and love today. Lilo, Making a Wish, a card that we remember as competing for the first card played for Amber decks. The 2 lore made it a strong contender for quite some time. Friends on the Other Side. If you were an Amethyst player, then you likely had at least a few of these in your deck. It was just something that you could not miss if you were an Amethyst player. Mickey Mouse, Wayward Sorcerer, the card that eventually became the cornerstone of Broom decks, in our opinion, and a classic Mickey Sorcerer card. We would love to see the return of Sorcerer Mickey one of these days. The Sorcerer theme and Disney just work so well together and have such a great history. A Whole New World. Steel didn't have too many options for card draw, but one that they did have, A Whole New World, was a banger. A Whole New World was devastating to opponents and a terrific disruptor to long setup types of games. The synergy that it had later on with Jafar Striking Illusionist, especially, was also so fun to play. Maui, Hero to All. This Ruby card was an absolute staple for red decks up until the Fabled release. A 5-cost inkable 6/5 with Russian Reckless was such a heavy hitter and defined Ruby decks for 2 years. The final 3 come down to these cards that we will miss the most from the first chapter. I'm sure you can already guess them, but let's go. Tamatoa, so shiny. This Sapphire card of Tamatoa, an 8-cost inkable 5/8 that returns items from the discard and gains 1 lore for each item you have in play. An absolute lore snowball monster for item decks. We saw a complimentary release in Arcasia's Island, but it just won't be the same without the older brother. Unique abilities, amazing and memorable card. Be prepared. Be prepared. The song card that was sung every time it was played in competitive scenes. The one card every opponent feared. The board wipe, the hard reset. Be Prepared was a giant and an instant classic. And drum roll please, last but absolutely positively not least, Rapunzel, Gifted with Healing. The single most sought after non-enchanted card for so many players in Lorcana. Up until the very last second before rotation, Rapunzel was holding strong. A 4-cost inkable with 1 strength and 5 willpower, questing for 2, and when played, removed up to 3 damage, drawing a card for each damage removed. What an amazing card. The GOAT of Amber decks that hovered around $40 or more for a very long time, and we haven't seen another since. Well, we know that there were so many fun cards that we're going to miss from the older sets, and the new rotation has shown to have some great surprises on its own. We look forward to the future, but would like to respectfully remember the epic cards from the past sets. We hope that some of these can be creatively incorporated in the future, but one thing is for certain, the future of Lorcana is bright. We hope you all have had a great 2025, and we can't wait to explore more Lorcana with you in 2026. Best wishes, Quill Ink.